Hi, I am Juliana, and she is Pisica. Hello, my friends cat lovers. We are thrilled to present you a new episode of A Cat Tale, Cinderpaw. Once upon a time, in a small village nestled near the edge of an enchanted forest, there lived a young, kind-hearted cat named Kitty. She had once been the beloved kitten of a gentle old tabby, but after her passing, Kitty was left in the care of her two wicked stepsisters, Scratch and Snarl. Though her real name was Kitty, everyone called her Cinderpaw. This nickname came about because Scratch and Snarl made her do all the cleaning, sweeping and chores around the house. Her soft orange fur was often smeared with soot from the fireplace, and so the name Cinderpaw stuck. But despite their cruelty, Cinderpaw never lost her gentle heart or her quiet hope that someday her life would change. One day, a grand announcement spread throughout the kingdom. The king cat was hosting a grand ball in honor of Prince Fluff, and all the cats in the land were invited. The prince was to choose a companion to rule the kingdom by his side, and the stepsisters, Scratch and Snarl, were determined to win his favor. "Oh, Cinderpaw," they sneered, "you can stay behind and clean up while we're at the ball." After all, who would want to see a filthy cat like you? Heartbroken but resigned, Cinderpaw watched as her stepsisters preened and groomed themselves, preparing for the ball. When they finally left, Cinderpaw curled up by the fire, her green eyes shimmering with unshed tears. "I wish I could go to the ball," she whispered softly. Suddenly the room filled with a soft golden light, and in a puff of sparkling fur, there appeared a mystical figure, Cinderpaw's fairy cat-mother. She was a plump, fluffy Persian with silver fur and a kindly twinkle in her eyes. "My dear Cinderpaw," purred the fairy cat-mother, "you shall go to the ball." With a flick of her magical tail, she transformed a nearby pumpkin into a sleek, cat-sized Rolls-Royce, with its shiny black paint glistening like midnight. Perched on the front seat was a mouse dressed as a chauffeur, complete with a tiny cap. "Your ride awaits, my dear," the fairy cat-mother purred. "But what will I wear?" Cinderpaw asked, glancing down at her soot-covered fur. "Leave that to me," the fairy cat-mother chuckled. With another flick of her tail, Cinderpaw's fur became clean and glossy, her paws adorned with tiny silver bell anklets. Around her neck, the fairy cat-mother fastened a delicate collar, sparkling with gems that glittered like stars. "Now remember," said the fairy cat-mother, "the magic will only last until the stroke of midnight. After that, everything will return to how it was." Overjoyed, Cinderpaw thanked her fairy cat-mother and climbed into the Rolls-Royce, with the mouse chauffeur tipping his hat as they sped off to the palace. When Cinderpaw arrived at the royal ball, all eyes were on her. She was the most graceful and elegant cat there, her gem-studded collar shimmering in the light. Prince Fluff, a regal long-haired grey Persian with a silken black coat, was immediately captivated by her charm and beauty. They danced and purred together all evening, while Scratch and Snarl, unaware that the mysterious cat was their own stepsister, fumed with jealousy from the sidelines. But just as the night was at its peak, the clock began to strike midnight. "Oh no," Cinderpaw gasped. She darted away from the prince, rushing toward the grand palace doors. In her haste, her collar slipped off and fell to the ground. Cinderpaw had no time to retrieve it. She had to escape before the magic wore off. Prince Fluff searched the ballroom, but Cinderpaw had vanished into the night, leaving only her sparkling collar behind. Determined to find the mysterious cat he had fallen in love with, Prince Fluff announced that he would visit every home in the kingdom to find the one whose neck fit the beautiful collar. The next morning, Scratch and Snarl were buzzing with excitement. They were sure one of them would be chosen by the prince. When the royal herald arrived with Prince Fluff to their home, each stepsister eagerly tried on the collar, but it was either too tight or too loose. Just as Prince Fluff was about to leave, a soft voice spoke from the back of the room. May I try it on? The prince turned to see Cinderpaw, her soft fur now dusty and dishevelled, but her eyes shining with hope. The collar slipped perfectly around her neck, fitting as though it had been made for her. "It's you!" Prince Fluff exclaimed, his eyes lighting up with joy. Scratch and Snarl could only watch in shock as Prince Fluff declared that Cinderpaw would be his princess. Her kind heart and grace had won him over completely. Cinderpaw's life changed forever that day. She left her cruel stepsisters behind and moved to the palace where she lived happily ever after with Prince Fluff. And from that day on, she never had to clean another fireplace again, unless, of course, she wanted to curl up for a cosy nap.